Hey everyone. Today I've had kind of it's almost like I don't want to call it a premonition, but it's not really a premonition. It's more of like what I have declared I'm doing. You know, I've got this course about to launch, and I'm still working with a couple of amazing one-on-one students on piano, and what I think the reason I was tempted to call it premonition is because it's almost like I can see where this is going in terms of where my work feels like it's going and where my focus feels like it's going. There's a sense of several of my students, I would say most of them now, I'm doing really profound personal / spiritual work with. And it has grown out of piano. Now, a lot of these are people that I met through, my buddy Kyle. So we met in a context of already doing spiritual work together. And so that creates a kind of easy, and it makes it easy to flip into that. It makes it easy to go there because we all know that we feel safe going there. Nobody's like, it's not like I'm working with people who, if I pointed out that they're being run by a pattern, they would freak out, or they wouldn't know what I was talking about, or they would think that I was like insulting them. We're all ready to jump in and do the work on that level. But at the same time, it also really just started out with me teaching piano. Like, I started out with all these people in a strictly musical place, just coming to the piano, finding out what they wanted to learn, and kind of diving in. And the movement that's happening is remarkable. It's truly remarkable. I'm watching one woman she's getting into GarageBand, and she's like recording herself, and she clearly has a natural talent for it. It's like watching somebody who's like potentially meant to be like an electronic music composer who's just never ever done that before and has no frame of reference for what it means to do that, but has all the impulses, all the sort of instinctive impulses. Or another woman who's so clearly spiritual and so clearly really powerful, really like just has a core of like conviction and self-confidence, or what's the word? It's like a clarity about her own life, but has a couple of little blocks, a couple little things that seem to, it's like a pattern of needing to feel like she's getting somewhere, moving somewhere. And that pattern ends up being debilitating because it refuses to ever allow the present moment to be enough. It just doesn't allow that. It always invalidates what's happening now under the pretense of getting her somewhere else, getting her somewhere better. And so there's this constant, it's a classic case of the ego trying to overcome the ego. The ego can't overcome the ego. The ego's methods are always the ego's methods. And so like the ego is the part of you that will decide that you now have a rule about being non-judgmental, and then judge you harshly for not living up to your own rule of non-judgmentalness. And then after it realizes that it has judged you for your non-judgmentalness, it'll judge itself for judging you for your non-judgmentalness. The ego will always be contained in that kind of circular pattern of self-incrimination, and something will always be wrong. And that's the nature. It's almost like that the circle of samsara, like what the Hindu tradition talks about, the cycle of samsara, is almost contained in what I just said right there. It's like this circular, continuously self-predatory cycle of never enoughness, always something wrong. And the reason, the thing that's wrong is that I think there's something wrong, and the thing that's wrong now is that even though I know there's nothing wrong, I think that there's something wrong, and so now I think that I'm wrong for thinking there's something wrong. It's always that. It's always going to be that seductive, and the ego can judge literally anything from the present moment on back. It can't judge the present moment, but it can judge everything before. And so learning that lesson, that coming out of piano and music and just the process that we engage in when we start to expand our minds in this way. So I'm just really touched, and I'm really honored, and I'm really excited that this is where this is going, that my work is really going to that. That's what I've been saying I want to do, and that's exactly what's happening. And I'm about to launch a course where now I'm putting that even more front and center, because I'm literally saying this is what the course is about. When someone comes to me for a one-on-one, of course I tell them where I'm coming from and what my approach sort of is, but we usually also just kind of work our way there. It takes a little time, and in this course I'm really planning to make that the first step. That's going to be we're going to go right in to putting our consciousness and our awareness front and center, over and above musical considerations. And then music becomes the working surface. Music becomes the medium that we're crafting within. So yeah, that's where I am today. It's like this incredible, it's a feeling of like things are moving right towards where they need to be, and things are right where they need to be now, and they're moving very quickly, quicker than I thought, in a direction that I am really excited about. So yeah, I love you all, and it means a lot to have you in my life. There's a lot going on right now. And I think it's going to be interesting to feel my way through the next day or two. I've had various moments over the last couple of days where I've been hitting some of my own patterns as well, and feeling an upswelling of something, and clocking that this is really I'm being basically challenged or invited into another level of realization of the very thing that I'm teaching. I mean, that's what my post was on yesterday or 2 days ago. Like, it's like as I manifest this, and as I explicitly create more and more of an avenue for it in my own life, it becomes something that the universe is also drawing out of me ever more explicitly. So it's really cool. It's really fun. So yeah, hope to see some of you along for the ride. Love you all. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.